Hey, are you shipping your items into the Amazon warehouse or planning on it? Well, before you do so, there is a handful of criteria that you have to surpass to make sure that your shipment does not go in without a delay. Because if it does, there are some bad scenarios where sometimes your products get shipped back to China and you have to pay for shipping twice. So let's cover all of these topics to make sure you don't make any mistakes while shipping your products in. Let's go. Hey, it's me, Karina. Welcome back to my daily videos of Amazon FBA. If you have not yet subscribed, do so below because I post daily videos, and also click the notification bell. And before we get into the meat and bones of this video, I provided a completely free guideline for you, which you can download just by clicking the link down here, and you are going to get an amazing sheet of the guidelines of everything you need to have on your product before actually shipping into Amazon. So this can save you a lot of headaches. So make sure to download your sheet below and just save yourself a lot of headache, which is basically my whole plan with making this YouTube channel. So anyways, now moving on to the criteria. If you are talking to the supplier and you're getting ready to ship in your items to Amazon, a lot of the times the supplier already has experience working with Amazon directly, so they will know these guidelines. However, if they don't, or if they are not working with Amazon too frequently, which sometimes depending on the product you will have that issue, it's not a huge issue if you know these guidelines that I'm talking about, and it's just good practice to know this as well before going into any product. And of course, I teach this in detail and the entire Amazon FBA process in my Into a Million Amazon FBA program, which you can find down below for more information. But the certain criteria is, let's get into it. First off, when your shipment comes into the warehouse itself, it needs to be a certain weight, and there can only be a certain amount of units in your boxes. I've actually had this mistake happen to me. I assumed that one of my suppliers knew the Amazon guidelines, but they did not. So they actually overpacked the boxes. There was twice as many units in each box, and the box was too heavily. So Amazon will not accept these types of packages. So you want to make sure that you stay within the guidelines. And the guideline is each box itself cannot be over 50 pounds, and each box cannot have more than 150 units. Don't worry, because all you need to do is just make sure that there are several boxes, and you can ship in several boxes at one time, and there just have to be like below 150 units, and each box has to weigh below 50 pounds. Now, if you have boxes of different weights, sizes, and units in each shipment, say for example you have two boxes of a certain weight with certain units and a third box with different amount of units than the first two boxes, what you need to do is create two different shipping plans. And this is kind of something I had a headache with when I first started, because no one told me that you need two shipping plans. So I was in there trying to figure out exactly what to do. But basically, create one shipping plan for the two boxes that are exactly the same, and a third shipping plan for the third box. Of course, I have a shipping playlist on my YouTube channel. If you want more details, I literally have a playlist for every single topic on Amazon FBA in this channel, so you can just go to that and look for more of the information you're looking for. So that's the very first thing. Now, when it comes to your actual physical product and box, there are three very important things you need to have on it that often get overlooked. Some are the requirements of Amazon itself, and some are the requirements of actually customs. So if you make the mistake with the customs, that's when problems start to happen, because your shipment can be held up in customs, and in horrible cases even sent back to the factories in China, which means you're going to have your supplier ship them again, and if it's an issue on your end, you're going to have to pay for shipping. And that's not something you want to do. If you literally order a product that is quite expensive and you spend a lot of money on air shipping because you're trying to expedite it, and then you have to literally redo the whole thing. So here are the three things that you must have. Okay, this one specifically is for customs. When you are shipping into the United States, customs require that you have a label on your actual box packaging, or a sticker. It could be a sticker, it could actually be printed on into your packaging design. And that is basically where your product was made, the origin of the country. So of course, if you're an Amazon FBA seller, most of your products are going to be made in China. But even if it's made in the USA, it just says made in the USA. So make sure you have a made in China either sticker or actually designed into your product packaging on each individual box. Now this has to be, if your product is in a box, it has to be on your box. If your product is in a bag or a poly bag, you can literally just have it on the poly bag. And this doesn't have to be huge and visible and ruining your brand. It could just be on like the bottom right corner, just so if they inspect it, it's there. Note, customs doesn't inspect every single product, but if they do happen to inspect your box and you don't have these requirements, you might get shipped back, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Now these next two are Amazon's required. So the first one is the Amazon barcode, commonly known as a UPC code, or Amazon deems it as the FN SKU code. Now you can generate the FN SKU code from a UPC code inside of your Amazon Seller Central account, but you need to have each one of these on your product packaging. Now your supplier will do this for free if you negotiate with them correctly, or if you want to pay 20 cents per sticker, Amazon will put this on for you. So if you made a mistake and you forgot to have your supplier put it on there for free, you can actually select that in your shipping plan when you're sending your units off to Amazon, but you do have to select it within your account, because that's how Amazon identifies what your item is. If you don't have that, then Amazon is not gonna know what this unit is, where to ship it, or like if someone orders, how to ship it out and how to identify it. So you really want to make sure that's on there. And if you're doing this, obviously you are, just have your supplier do it. It's free. It's better than paying 20 cents per product, which you could be using on like a PPC conversion to get you a sale. Just let's try to cut all the costs as much as possible, and that's just one unnecessary cost. Basically all of this can be done for free by your supplier, so there's no reason that you should be paying for any of this. And the third requirement is basically also by the terms of Amazon, and that is if your items are in any type of poly bag, which is a see-through bag. I don't know how to describe it. So basically it's literally a see-through bag. For example, you want to package something and send it off, but you're not trying to make it a design or some type of product. You're just putting it in a bag, zipping it up, and just sending it through. If it is on poly bag, right, with a certain amount of width and length, and by the way, this is all in the sheet that I mentioned. I obviously didn't memorize the requirements based on the top of my head, but I made it easy as possible for you, and literally if you download the sheets, all the requirements are there and exactly what to say, so you can copy and paste and send it to your supplier to make sure you have this. But basically it has to be a choking hazard sticker or writing. So if it's an invisible poly bag, a lot of kids can choke on it because it is see-through, and it's just a requirement, right? So they want that choking hazard to be written on there, and that just says choking hazard and blah blah blah, a bunch of other words under. Again, it's all in the cheat sheet, so just download it and then you can just literally copy and paste it to your supplier. So that is needed, and there has to be a certain font for each dimension of the bag. So as the bag gets wider and larger, the font size increases. So again, the requirements are in the sheet below, so just download it for the future, just so you know as well, so you don't have to go digging up the information later. Just download the sheet, store it on your desktop, pull it up when you need it. So those are basically all the requirements to make sure your shipping actually goes through correctly. If you want an actual video on how to create your shipping label from A to Z, I have a video on that in my shipping playlist on this channel, so check that out. All of my other links are also down below. I'll see you in my next video.